You don't need to tell me, but I already know that you want to improve your English speaking, but you cannot afford exorbitant IELTS courses, or you are an introvert, so you often feel shy and embarrassed when speaking in English with your partners or your mentors. And your final solution for those things is that self-studying at home. But there's a problem that you're scared that you are not able to improve your English significantly like others without practicing with a native speaker or a professional mentor. You're watching the right video. Hey guys, I'm Yui, and in order to help you with your journey of speaking English fluently, I will give you 7 unique yet effective tips that actually work for you, just like they used to help me earn 2 total scholarships. Remember, tip number 4 is the experience that I gained by myself and I haven't heard on YouTube so far. And tip number 1, 2, and 3, and tip number 5 are the ones that determined my success in learning English, especially speaking. So make sure to watch to the end of the video to know the optimal method. Tip number 1. If you want to make a huge progress and find happy when learning English in the long run, the very first thing that you should do is changing your mindset. First of all, as a beginner, don't be overwhelmed with hard and specialized topics that you don't actually like. Instead, you have to learn and practice with the topics and materials that suit you well. And so, to find the ideal material to learn, you can follow this diagram, which I learned from this YouTuber, and now I will summarize it in English. The upper circle here represents the topics that you enjoy studying, and the second one stands for the topics that are usually used in English exams, like in IELTS, in TOEIC, or Cambridge. The circle on the left-hand side represents the materials that are appropriate with your current level, and the final one on the right is the topics and materials that have detailed transcripts or subtitles. Okay, your mission is trying to find the learning materials that meet all 4 given criteria. But how to find such ideal things like this in a bunch of English materials? I will definitely give you a step-by-step guide in the tip number 4, so be sure to watch till then to have the method discussed. Secondly, to be adept at English speaking, you have to practice a lot and even integrate it in your life on a daily basis. Fluency and accuracy in English don't come overnight. Therefore, you cannot just merely learn all lengthy and complicated grammatical structures at school or cram English vocabulary as much as possible. You have to change it right now in order to speak English better. The truth is, to be fluent and smooth when speaking English, the most vital things that you should pay attention to are pronunciation and intonation. So, in order to pronounce the words correctly in English, you have to learn and be able to read the IPA. So, why do we need to study the IPA while we just can, morally pronounce words in our way? Well, the fact is that pronunciation is the very first things that can evaluate your English speaking skill. And a native speaker or your examiner will be impressed when your pronunciation is correct, no matter how bad your knowledge and lexical resources are. So, when you are made to pronounce everything you say accurately, you succeed in creating a good impression when speaking in English with others. You probably ask how to pronounce correctly when I've just started from scratch and don't know many English words. Here you are. It's very simple. You just need to be competent at understanding and using the English IPA and then apply it to every single vocabulary that you learn. And finally, your pronunciation will significantly improve. Regarding the learning sources, you can just merely go to YouTube and search for the way to learn and read IPA, then seriously follow it. I will also give you some links of those videos in the comment section, so make sure to check it out. Okay, to kick off, the tone of voice shows us emotion and excitement for a conversation. And in my opinion, most of the strategies given by poor quality IELTS materials, such as memorizing IELTS sample answers, will greatly affect your tone practice. Therefore, I think in order to have a natural and appropriate intonation when speaking in English, you have to practice smartly and effectively. And right now, I will give you 3 tips to do that. So, if there's a sentence, you tend to speak in higher tone at the middle of it, and then gradually lower the tone when it comes to the end of the sentence. It's kind of da-da-da, da-da-da, right? So, for example, if you want to speak English fluently, you have to practice a lot. Or, I love talking through social media, but actually I'm really scared of the crowd. Okay, tip number 2. When it comes to a question, you tend to speak with a gradually high tone when it comes to the answer to a question. For instance, do you like it? Do you love it? What's your opinion about it? What do you think about it? Or who's that? Where's that? Tip number 3. We normally emphasize the main verbs and nouns or often some negative adverbs when it comes to a sentence. But the emphasis rule can be adjusted based on the saying you want to emphasize.
My name's Funny, do you? No need to ask you yours.
Okay, now I'm currently at the interface of the eToro web. And as you can see, there's a category name is floor, and here's the topic. You can choose the topic around house, business and finance, education, etc. You just need to choose the category which you like the most, and then you can choose your level. If you're a beginner, choose number 1, and if you are expert already, choose number 7. Here I made you number, or you can go there and search for the film or the music video or anything similar that you like watching and click enter. So it will like this. It will be like this, and you just need to choose the video that you like based on the number. This number is stand for the level. So you just need to click here, and it will be like this. Wait a minute. So here's the transcript, and here's the subtitles of the video. If you click at the subtitles, it will pause for you to look at this. And if you want to practice your speaking, you click here, the category speak, like this. Click here to record and click again to stop. Here I will give you a try. Off you go then. Yeah, it will mark your speaking. If you can get 100%, you are good at speaking, right? I'm good at speaking. Yay. So let's start with another example. Wingardium Leviosa. 100%, right? So I will continue the speaking process. It's kind of really funny, right? I found it really amazing, and it's kind of amusing so that I can follow the actors that I like. It's not kind of compulsory or mundane or boring or anything. It's really exciting, right? So if you apply this website and your favorite video together, it can be a great experience of practicing speaking. See, it's pretty easy though, so just keep practicing with this platform. It's really worth trying. It also have the writing exercise and quiz exercise, so be sure to check it out. here. See?
One of the wizard's most rudimentary skills is levitation.
And you type here, and that's just an examples of this exercise. You can try it out. And it's also have the listen exercise.
One of the wizard's most
Here, you can see.
rudimentary skills is levitation. The ability to make objects fly.
Here's the quiz, quick quiz, 12 questions, 3 different types of questions, and quickly revise vocabulary you have watched in this video.
One of the wizard's most rudimentary skills is
Rudimentary skill. Rudimentary. Rudimentary. Sorry. Yes, Trin, right.
one of the wizard's most
There's also a kind of word store so that you can learn vocabulary here. See? It also have the vocabulary related to your program at school, so make sure to check it out. It's really worth watching. Although I'm not be sponsored by this website, but it is really highly recommended. So yeah, and especially in this category, you can also connect a YouTube video that you like into this platform. But in the free version, you just kind of have the access to one YouTube video already, and after that you have to erase it in order to add another video in. See? You just need to copy the URL of the video there, and you click here to connect to the video, and it will kind of create the transcripts, the exercise for you to practice.
You're going to take someone's eye out. Besides,
You're going to take someone's eye out. 0%. So here's a step-by-step guide of how I practice speaking on a daily basis. Tip number 1, choose a favorite video on Enjoy, as I said in tip number 4, and this video must meet all the criteria which I've mentioned in tip 1. Tip number 2, listen at least 3 times to fully understand the whole video. Normally, in the first time, I try to guess the rough idea about its topic without subtitles, and then the second play, I would try to jot down new words that might be useful in English conversations and actively learn it. And in tip 7, I will tell you the way to choose the vocabulary to learn in a smart way so that you can speak English accurately and fluently without making any vain attempts. Therefore, if you want to be well-rounded in English, make sure to watch till then. So, in the final play, I will listen to this video again and understand 100% what is said without subtitles. You can adjust the number of times listening if necessary. Tip number 3, practice with speaking exercise on Enjoy, and tip number 4, imitate the pronunciation, the intonation, the accent, and even the time they speak or rest. Just endeavor to imitate until you find it perfect. And the final tip, just act along. As I said before, success doesn't come overnight. Therefore, to achieve your target of speaking English fluently, you have to integrate it into your daily routine and make it a part of your life. You can start with creating a to-do list or a schedule in English, and then jump to a higher level of integration, which is adjusting the default language in your social media interface to English. You can also try other recreational approaches such as TV shows in English, YouTube videos, or songs in English. Besides, you might find it extremely helpful when reading books or even taking notes in English because it stimulates the ability of thinking and solving data in English, not your mother tongue. Thence, with enough time and practice, you will have an instinct to respond quickly and even immediately to. Last but not least, the most amusing yet highly effective measure to put yourself in an English environment is following famous English YouTubers or influencers and take a leaf out of the books. So, at the end of the day, which activity do you find the most effective in your circumstance? Comment down below for me to know it. I will be sure to reply you. And if you find this video seems to be quite okay, consider to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. So now I will tell you the tips to find the right vocabulary to learn. Number 1, don't try to force yourself to use academic uncommon words. You know, the final purpose of learning how to speak properly and fluently in English is effective communication. That means other people can understand you fully without trying so hard. Thus, using too academic and specialized terms doesn't help you to communicate effectively and naturally, even in the IELTS texts. To prove this point, just look at the IELTS speaking band scripters. They say the person who can get a 9 band in IELTS must use idiomatic language naturally and precisely rather than uncommon and subtle specialized terms. Therefore, just be natural and focus more on your fluency and your pronunciation. The second tip is that learn the collocations. I mean the phrases, not the single words. You know, it's so prevalent that a majority of English learners, especially beginners, try to learn by heart every single English word separately without connecting them together to make sense. So, my solution is just merely learn the collocations instead of each single vocabulary. For some peers here who don't know about collocations, it is a word or phrase that usually used with another word or phrase in a way that sounds correct to people who have spoken the language all their lives but might not be expected from the meaning. So regarding the sources of learning, you can use those two books, one for intermediate and one for advanced. Or you just need to immerse yourself with English videos on YouTube and pay attention to the phrases that they use.